What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have some sad news. In fact, for the past week, since the second week of January, I have been so sick. I have been dying. You can still hear it in my voice, at least I would assume so, because I sound horrible, and that's why we don't have a camera either this week, because all of these videos I am recording on January 18th, right before the new week. That way you guys still have builds coming out, but honestly, I've kind of been dying. I'm in the trenches. So, these builds are going to be a little quicker, a little faster. I'm going to talk a little less, and if there's a random cut, pay no attention. It's because I started having a coughing fit. Without further ado, let's get into today's build. Today's build is a Pierce Light Bowgun. Pierce Light Bowgun is naturally something I'm not super interested in, but thanks to Gogmazios and Title Update 4, it has gotten significantly better. I will preface this with saying that to get a Pierce Gogma Ardean Light Bowgun or Heavy Bowgun, you do need to roll it with an Affinity or an Elemental focus. The reason for that is because if you do the attack, it actually takes away Pierce. You can only have normal and spread at the highest level. You can see here on my Light Bowgun, I have normal ammo, Pierce ammo, spread ammo, slicing ammo, but most notably, you can see the Pierce ammo is level 3 with a capacity of 4. Not to mention, we have a rapid fire Light Bowgun. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to create any sort of Light Bowgun. As long as it is created with an Affinity focus and it is Pierce, you're golden. The next RNG roll, because this is an RNG build, is the Fulgur Anjanath's Will and Lord's Soul. The reason we're rocking these two is because you were able to take advantage of the additional stamina gauge that you get from Fulgur Anjanath. Meaning, you can keep your uptime on your Affinity for a lot longer. Because of that, it really lends itself well to Pierce, because you are sitting there just kind of shooting through the entire monster. It guarantees that you've always got a solid amount of damage. You do not need Lord Soul, you just need the Fulgur Anjanath's Will. I happen to get very lucky with mine, and because of that, decided to take full advantage of it. If you are going for an RNG min-max, definitely go for a Fulgur Anjanath's Will and Lord Soul. Last but not least, for the RNG on the weapon, is the reinforcement bonus. Ideally, you are going to want at least one Affinity EX, and the reason for that is because we are rocking an Affinity focus. The more Affinity we get, the more we can take advantage of critical boost. Affinity boost EX is a plus 10, which gives us a baseline of 25% Affinity. 25% Affinity may sound like a lot to have just sitting on a weapon, but it is more than beneficial when you are actually out and about fighting. As far as the remainders of the reinforcement here, I would say one ammo boost EX and then some attack boosts. You can see that mine, even still, I'm missing an EX, and this one is at a level 3. So this can get even better with even more damage. So, now that we've hit the weapon, let's go ahead and take a look at the armor. Armor we're rocking is the Udra Meyerhelm Gamma and the Jin Dahad Shardmail Gamma. Reason we're rocking these is we want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of guts. And not to mention, they come with some really good skills, plus some really good decoration slots to maximize our efficiency with this Pierce Light Bowgun build. Next up is Gogmazios Fanbrace's Alpha specifically. The reason for this is Second Wind. This is why we are using Second Wind or the Fulgur Anjanath's Will on our Light Bowgun, is because Gogmazios gives us more skills that we want, on top of the fact that it gives us the 2-piece bonus. Last but not least, we have 2-piece gore with the Coil and the Greaves in beta. The reason we're rocking these is because you want to make sure that we have even more Affinity. You want to make sure that we get the additional 25%. In fact, between just our weapon and the 2 pieces of gore, we have a minimum of 50% pretty much all the time. When it comes to our Affinity, 50%. And it's even easier to proc since it is on a Pierce Light Bowgun. Last but not least is the Talisman. The Talisman is actually really easy for this build. Pretty much anything that you want. I decided to go with a mine that has crit boost and attack boost. This is the only charm or talisman that I have with critical boost on it, meaning I want a crit boost 5. Ideally, all you need is one level 1 slot. You can put whatever you want here. If you want attack boost level 3, go for it. If you want something like quick sheath, go for it. If you want this, if you want that, literally whatever it is that you want for this build, for your light bowgun, whether it's quality of life for the bowgun, or if it's for you specifically that you may like this skill more than another, go for it. This charm is very, very flexible. The only one that I would recommend is, just because of light bowgun needing a couple extra decoration slots, is a critical boost charm / talisman to make sure that you have a critical boost maxed out. All in all, once everything is put together, including our decorations on our weapon, which we'll touch in a moment, you'll have physique, 3 of them. This is going to make it to where you have constitution level 5. You'll have 1 mighty jewel. This is going to make it to where you have maximum might level 3. The reason we are using 3 destroyer jewels is because part breaker. Part breaker is actually very, very good, especially with Pierce, because it is going through the entire monster. Meaning, depending on what you're aiming at, maybe you're on the left side of the monster of something like a Legiacris, you are shooting at the 2 legs on the left, you will end up doing additional part damage to both of them. Maybe you're shooting through the head and it's ended up hitting the monster in the back. Also, in the case of a Legiacris, you'll end up doing additional part damage to not only his head, but his back. Super, super valuable, super, super important, and very, very good on light bowgun. Next up is we have 1 adapt jewel here and 1 adapt jewel on our talisman. Like I said, thanks to the talisman and how pretty much free reign it can be for this build, you don't need anything crazy. You really can just get away with whatever it is that you may want. Last but not least, we have 2 sane jewels here. 1 critical jewel here. This is going to give us our antivirus. This is going to give us our level 5 crit boost. And then we have our challenger jewels. The reason we're rocking the challenger jewels is just because we want to make sure that our agitator is maxed out. As far as the weapon goes, you have a couple different choices. For me, at least, I decided critical boost was the most important. But because we are also rocking a Pierce light bowgun build, I want to make sure that we are taking full advantage and we have full damage, meaning piercing shots is super, super valuable. An additional 5% damage with all of our piercing shots may not sound like a lot, but when you multiply 5% times 20 different ticks of 5 damage, it ends up adding up fairly quickly. Last but not least is ballistics. And the reason I wanted to do ballistics is because ballistics itself is going to be very, very nice to allow our pierce ammo to shoot further and do maximum damage. These are the things that I would recommend specifically for this type of build, but do with it as you see fit. That being said, let's go ahead and go over to Luke real quick. Take a look. Turn on our skills. Scroll over to Pierce. And now you can see here, we're firing 2 shots. 1 full magazine, we do about 650 damage. We do have all of our bonuses, thanks to Gormagala's Tyranny being active, and you can see we have 263 attack, 95% affinity, and we were able to take full advantage of everything. So what we'll do here, 1 single fire from our alternate fire, lending us nearly 500 damage. Not to mention, every single one of them is a crit, and you can do your tracer shots, or your chaser shots. Overall, this build is really, really nice. It does a crap ton of damage. You can see here, I am just unloading into the monster, and everything is a crit, doing crazy amounts of damage, no matter what. I really enjoy this build. It's actually what I've used on the triple tempered Bwanganga, just because it was so much fun. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's sick rendition of Sniper. I'm out of here. I gotta get some rest. I got a couple more videos I need to record, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Things will be back to normal, hopefully next week, and hopefully I start feeling better soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for today's build. Thank you all for coming and watching it. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.